speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.
We don't. That was Burns's one job, Daniel. Burns had one job. Sorry, two jobs. He does the maths because he is the accountant of the group. But his secondary job was to come prepared with an order that we speak in. But I can't remember the last time that he's actually done his job.
I'll take over the order going forward then, seeing as he's slacking.
Well, Sean, that's very big of you. But if we can have a little bit more effort in this than what you did with the Twitter, that would be fantastic. But guys, welcome in. We are now recording for this week's podcast. We are going to be talking about Sean's choices of movies. I'm sure you're all sick of hearing that. You're probably thinking I've come on to the same episode again for 4 weeks in a row because it's just constantly Sean getting to pick his films. Sean, what did you choose this week for us?
Sorry, me, myself, and Irene, and Caliber. My picks.
I honestly, I had my fingers crossed there. You were going to say two movies that you'd already picked before that we'd watched. I thought that'd have been funny. No takers? No. Well, yeah, me, myself, and Irene, which we all had a bit of a dramatic this morning when we realised that it's now available on Amazon Prime, but two of us at least are paid to watch it. And Caliber, a Scottish movie, not quite like Trainspotting. Who can remember?
This will be the second Scottish movie we've watched. Is that all? We should probably do a bit more. We should probably get that in the wheel.
What we'll do is we'll take one of Sean's names off for the next time and we'll add Scottish instead. They both start with S, so that makes the most sense.
Scottish Glory will have to be in that.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Sunshine on Leith Day.
Oh, a musical. A wee musical.
Hey, I like Sunshine on Leith. I was actually talking about that recently. That is a good film. I think we're talking about it because I watched Sweeney Todd. Me and Sarah were talking about different musical films that we had watched, and I like things like Les Mis. Sweeney Todd was good. I like Sunshine on Leith. We should have been watching Hamilton recently, but the guys were vetoed that.
The one that's not a movie. When it gets made into a movie, we'll watch it.
Defo counts as a movie.
So we could have like a documentary / non-movie option on the wheel.
Yeah, we could do that. Just make it non-fiction, put it non-fiction or something like that.
Yeah.
But don't like.
Then, is that not like two things that have already happened and these have been re-dramatized, or whatever that spiel was about movies based on two events?
Well, we could have in the Fergie documentary that was on the Amazon as well. Could put that on the list.
There's loads of good documentaries.
I watched that Three Kings there, mate. That's a decent watch.
Well, listen, this is the morons reviewing documentaries that are still on movies. Who can remember the movies from last week?
Go on, Burns.
Kick-Ass and What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
Well done. Kick-Ass came in at number 66 on our leaderboard with a 3.05, and What's Eating Gilbert Grape was 42nd with a 3.55. We always get a lot of hate about we give shit scores or really good scores, but there's 24 places in between there, and there's only a 0.5 year difference.
Aye, that's the sort of level with that now, because how many movies have we got total now? About 140, 130?
See, you're supposed to prep me with these kind of things, so I've got it ready. 129.
129. So it's starting to squeeze up. It's hard. It's difficult to get into that top 20 now. There's not going to be many.
There is some movies that are missing from this list. Some absolute classics like Capone is not on the list.
Well, that's what it should be, not on the list.
If we were to rate Capone just now off the top of our heads from remembering our experience of watching it, How would we all score it? A quick round robin. Hunter.
0.0.
Bundy.
0.5,
Sean.
possibly.
0.25. I can't remember much about it, to be honest.
Daniel.
On deflection, probably a 0 when you think about it. When I think about the other things I've given it a 0 to, it was as bad as those.
I would rather watch the French. I would rather watch that instead of the French Dispatch, though.
Oh, close.
I mean, I'd throw a hat in there and say it's in the 0. It is down there beside your Zulu Dawn. Yeah, again, our question: Zulu Dawn, the French Dispatch, Capone, True Crimes, or Mega Shark versus Colossus? What are you watching?
Shut up with your true crimes nonsense. Dark
That,
crime.
do you know it's so funny? So when you look at it on IMDb,
I thought it was intentional there.
on IMDb, it's called True Crimes, but it's got Dark Crimes in the poster.
Oh, right, okay. Now it's making a bit of sense why you always call it the wrong name.
I know. I've always wondered that. I've just never said anything.
So, see, out of all of those you've just named, I think Dark Crimes is the one that I don't think anybody would like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the other one, some people would like them, and obviously the fucking feedback we got for the French Dispatch shows that loads of people like it. But Dark Crimes, I don't think it had any redeeming features. Really. I don't think anyone could like it. So bad.
What about Mega Shark versus Colossus? Would that be on anyone's watch list out of those 5?
Mine, probably just because it's the shortest out of all of them.
Oh, well, yeah, there's some horrific movies. Zulu Dawn was nearly 2 hours long, guys. And you're moaning at me about an upcoming movie that's going to be selected about length of time. You'd rather watch this upcoming movie twice over than watch Zulu Dawn, surely.
Let's see.
It's because you also gave us an original film that was half the length as well, and then changed your mind. That's a bit annoying me, mate.
Well, if the guy that runs our Instagram account was a little bit faster on the button and not slacking as much as the guy that used to run our Twitter account, then you could have had it locked and loaded, but we had time to change it.
No, the schedule always is. I wait for the movies to be announced in the podcast before I put it on Instagram.
What have you changed?
Oh, Sean's not seen that.
So it's 12 Angry Men and Zack Snyder's Justice League are the 2 movies.
Well, I've already watched Power Rangers.
Oh, well. He's talking pish because it's not been bought.
I've already I bought it myself.
Did you buy it? How much was it?
$4.99.
$4.99. You got bumped because it was $3.99.
Oh.
Would you? I want to know how you bought it as well because it's only available to rent for $150.
No, it was
Sky Movies, maybe, Sean.
Oh, I got it in the Matalan DVD bucket.
Next to Back to the Future.
Oh, love that.
Oh, excellent, guys. Well, listen, let's get started on the movies for this week. Sean, you did get to select them, so which movie would you like to talk about first?
Let's go for Me, Myself and Irene first.
Me, Myself and Irene. Do you know what? You take it away. I'm sure the people that are listening have seen this movie before, so there's no need for me to explain what it is.
So, Me, Myself and Irene was a favourite of mine as a young boy. I hadn't watched it in years, so I was interested to see how it kind of came across nowadays. And watching it, I felt like that wee boy. I thought it was really good. There is obviously wee bits of it that probably wouldn't kind of make its way into films nowadays, but we kind of found that quite a lot with older kind of films, especially comedies. But I think Jim Carrey is any, obviously, like Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber and all that. This is my favourite Jim Carrey kind of comedy film. I think he's absolutely tremendous in it. Just watching it, the wee bits that like I'd kind of forgot about, the bit with the cow when they come across the cow lying in the road is just unbelievable. Like, just, and the wee bit like when after he's put like 7 bullets in it, and then he's choking it with his fingers in the nose, and then Renee Zellweger just starts kicking it in the stomach. Just that wee kind of kick ended me. I thought it was hilarious. And just
before you move on, the best bit about that whole joke was they come back to it later on, and they're like, The cow barely survived.
And then at the end, you see the cow in the field, and it's got a fucking like neck brace on and that, and it's just It is obviously such a stupid film. Like it is really, really stupid and a bit over the top in that. But even when he changes to Hank, like the voice and like the facial expression, and obviously it's very obvious, but it's just a good way to obviously distinguish which character he actually is at that point. And I just think it is really well done. The just like and when he was handing Renee Zellweger into the police after he's obviously took her cross country and all that, and he's got cotton mouth and he's just standing in the background, and it's just wee things just absolutely howl it. But it's obviously a very simple story. It's got its flaws. It's a bit over the top and stupid, but I think that watching it in 2022, it still is as funny as I remember it back when I was a wee boy. Like I did, I really enjoyed watching it again. Really did.
It was funny.
Mm-hmm.
It gave like when it first starts when I was watching it, I was proper like jaw hit the floor, shocked at the opening scenes where he's having the interaction with a limo driver. It's just so many different scenarios play through that just wouldn't be made into a comedy these days. But Jim Carrey's character in it is brilliant. You touched on the switch between going from the main is it Charlie to Hank.
Yeah.
The music changes, the way that the camera shot and stuff all changes so that you know it's two separate characters. I was absolute howling at the bit where he comes out the train and he's fighting himself.
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
But that's proper slapstick humour, thinking that, what was it, I was about 13, 14 when this movie came out, and it probably would have been the funniest thing in the world to me at that point. I remember picking this up from the shop that I did my paper round for had a little video section. I used to always get comedies like this from it, and I think that was where I first watched this movie. I really liked it. Burnsy, had you seen this movie before?
Yeah, I had.
Whoa. Well, let's take a minute.
Amazing.
That might be up to maybe one or two movies that you've seen prior to this.
Aye, well, I was saying, I mentioned it to Sean yesterday, that although when Sean mentioned it, I was like, I've definitely seen it. I think it must have been when I was like, I don't know, like a teenager that I watched it. Like it wasn't recent of, so I don't really remember much about it at all. I'm sort of just similar to Sean, really. I think he sort of covered a lot of the things, that the scenes that I thought were class. And I'm agreeing with you, Kel, in terms I thought the humour was it was directed at the target audience for the humour was obviously lower than our age, I thought. Maybe like teenagers, maybe up to like 18, 19 or something. But it was still enjoyable, even though for us it was kind of over the top and a bit ridiculous, I thought at times. But that's what the film was supposed to be. It wasn't because that you watched it and thought, well, why is it going like this? Jim Carrey was class for the role. It would be the best person that they could have had for it. I'm assuming this will probably be one of your questions when you get to it, but I'm assuming he must have been the first choice and nobody else was offered the role, because if there was somebody else that was offered the role, that would have been stupid.
You're incorrect with that, Bunty. There was somebody else offered the role first, so I will reveal it later.
That's ridiculous. Wow.
I've actually done my homework this week, boys.
Joe, it's funny. I had absolute faith in you, Hunter, that I've got all the trivia loaded up on my other screen here.
There we go.
I just think when you read the script, if you actually even said to me who would be the best, I would even be able to tell you Jim Carrey would be the best actor for it. So, whoever it was, and they're lucky that he was second or third choice or whatever, and it landed on him. I wouldn't say I was sort of howling out loud at scenes, but I was laughing throughout it. Another couple of things like the main, obviously gave you a brief insight into the relationship he has with his kids. I thought that was portrayed quite well. I didn't notice the camera, the music changing at all when it was the different personalities kill.
You had the big loud drumming, and it was like it always drummed, and he would do the facial expressions. That was obviously the more obvious changes on camera.
Aye, obviously I got when Jim Carrey was acting differently and his facial expressions changed or his voice changed, all that kind of stuff. But the actual out with him went right over my head, so that's quite interesting to know. Probably makes it actually better that they've done that to try and distinguish the difference for you too. But
it's subtle enough that you didn't even notice it. Do you mean it's almost like subliminal because you're just always sort of aware of which one he is. Do you mean without that, it's so I like it's subtle that you wouldn't even notice it. Like
the only time I was going to ask now that it was said that is, did you spot straight away that obviously Hank was acting as Charlie when he sleeps with her?
It's hard because I've seen this movie so many times that I would have to take myself back years to know that. So this time I knew it was coming, so it's difficult.
Aye, I think like I had a vague idea. Like although I'd seen it, like a lot of it was sort of fresh to me. I could remember some scenes, but not a lot of it. And to me, I was kind of thinking this seems a bit weird. But as you say, it was a kind of straightforward storyline. Don't think it's good. Like it's not one of the best films we've had, but it's definitely like a really enjoyable film more than anything. But yeah, so I've not got anything bad to say about it. It's kind of don't want to go over what Sean and Kel have said because they've kind of said exactly how I felt.
There's a lot of subtle humours in it. That did you notice the names of his sons?
Yes.
So that absolutely had me howling that one of them is called Shantae Junior. Junior to who?
Well, that's what the limo driver's name was it no Shantae?
Aye, but the idea that he wouldn't have figured it out and he's going along with it.
Aye.
Aye, because they have the barbecue where like every guy's kicking about with a big massive mustache on it, and then they're making the comments about the boys in the paddling pool.
Aye, the sizes of them and stuff.
Sizes of their what ones?
Heads?
Sausages.
I can see the panic in Burns' face there.
I know.
The other scene that again, like, had me howling is when Renée Zellweger's character comes into his room and he's just lying in bed and he's got the tissues everywhere. He's got the lotion. He's got a picture of her.
See the bit when they meet Milky or Whitey, and he's staring at the child, and it just turns into Hank, and then he wants to go scrap with the child. Like that was brilliant and all.
So I had did my preparation in the event that Hunter either showed us or never done his trivia because he's a bit mercurial like that.
You got 0 out of 2 for Hunter Bingo tonight then.
Well, I'm just waiting for the phone to hit the floor and the headphones to fall, but you're not even wearing them tonight.
No, not at all.
I was absolutely convinced that when I seen Whitey's character that I've seen him in so many movies. I seen him instantly, but it's like, oh, him. But from the trivia, and I don't know if this is stealing your thunder quite, Hunter, I don't think he was in another movie.
Fully stealing my trivia. That's one of the main things I'm going to do.
Yes. He just wasn't in anything else, but I've like Mandela affected this. I've seen him in loads of different movies. But when he was obviously hitting him with all the insults and Whitey saying how sad it made him feel and stuff, and then they asked him what his name was, and he said it was Casper. I spat my juice out at that point.
I love that shit, man. Like stuff like that's so fucking funny for me.
It's so simple, but yet so effective. I think that's what the film's really good at. It's just that it's kind of humor that everyone, a lot, like so many people get, and it's really simple, but it's really well done.
Yeah.
Go on, Daniel. You keep going with your thoughts.
You don't get movies like this anymore. Not so much in the sense of like you wouldn't get away with it, but in the sense of you can tell that they've just tried to pack in as many jokes to every scene as possible. Like, it makes me think they've just had hundreds and hundreds of ideas and they've tried to get as many jokes in as they can. And I love it. Because, like you said, every single thing about Whitey as a character is funny. Like, the whole character's funny. The 3 sons are funny. Like, we spoke about Bridesmaids not that long ago where we were like, all the side characters were just a bit of a waste of time and they didn't contribute anything. But it's pretty much every character in this is funny in some way, and they contribute to it. But I think this is
the intellectual conversation between the 3 sons was so funny.
Aye, yeah.
Because it's so not suited to their look of characters that they were like talking to each other in German and stuff when they're doing the helicopter scene and they're studying for tests, but the banter back and forward between them was excellent.
Aye, it's class. And I love the fact that, and they set it all up so well because obviously the mum who abandons them and the dwarf guy are both members of Mensa. So it plants the seed that's why they're going to have these super smart kids.
That went straight over my head.
See, there's and that's what I'm saying. I think this film's actually really good. So like they've got jokes that go throughout the movie, and they layer on it, so it's sort of familiar when it happens, and you're sort of. I find myself sort of laughing before the thing comes. It's more the anticipation of seeing, what's coming almost. Like when Charlie and Hank are fighting, and then it turns out that Hank's scared of water, or they're both scared of water or whatever, and he keeps hitting his leg until he gets it back. But then you're already sitting thinking, going, well, when he gets it back, he's not going to be able to done, and then he falls over. It's so funny, man. Everything's really well set up. Jim Carrey's unbelievable in this. Like the scenes where he's going rapidly back and forward between the two. It's one of those things. Obviously, this is a comedy, but is it really? James McAvoy, for example, gets loads of plaudits for what was that called again?
Split.
Yeah.
Do you mean performance-wise, is it any better than this? No. Like Jim Carrey's fucking amazing in this, and there's so many little things that he does in this that are very similar to Ace Ventura. I feel when he's got the fingers on the nose of the cow, it's almost the same as the scene with the alligator in Ace Ventura. And see when he gets the spider on him and he jumps out and he's flailing about, and that's the exact same as the Ace Ventura scene with the bat, and he's like, "Oh, get off me." So a lot of it's just Jim Carrey getting to be himself, but much like Sean, I probably watched this about fucking 100 times when I was a kid. So I've probably memorized all of it, and I still enjoy it.
I'm sitting looking through different little quotes and stuff that come from it, and even the aftermath of the sex scene that you didn't get to see any of it.
He goes for a fish.
Even when he takes a shit, probably the funniest bit is when he first loses a plot and he's like does the Vagisil.
You just stole my line. I was just going to say that was my favourite one-liner for the film.
Sorry, man. I'll stop talking in a minute. But that opening bit where he just sort of loses the plot, and it's just first starts losing it, and he walks into his neighbour's house, steals the newspaper off his wife, and then does the shit. See,
and his neighbour's wife's actually in the toilet, so he's obviously seen her start naked, basically, too, which is obviously just glossed over.
But also, how long has she been taking a shit for? Because that's like early on in the day. Like she's on the toilet reading the paper.
Some folk are weird like that though. Some folk will take like a full paper. I never do this, but some folk obviously take their full newspaper and probably read it doing a big job. So they're there for about 2 hours.
Go phones in for that, we're all right. Well, if we're talking about our favourite one-liner for it, the bit that got me laughing the most is when he turns and sees White and he goes, "Holy shit, it's a giant Q-tip."
Hank's a horrible bastard, eh?
Aye.
Yeah,
he's like all the way through it. Anyway, Hunter, before I start saying everything else you were thinking, on you go.
Aye, I think for me, although to kind of echo on what you have said, obviously Jim Carrey's class, I like not only the relationship with his sons, but even the camaraderie between they three as well is so good and it's so well portrayed. But whilst it's fresh in the mind, that one-liner on the back of the Vagiclear thing, which is a possible contender for name of the podcast for this week. A little too much cheese on the taco.
That is real.
Again, the funny thing about that was he sniffs the air first.
Aye,
and he goes like, "Oh, better make that urgent," or whatever it is he says. Like,
it's the delivery with it. Like she's there with the kids and that, whatever. They like, pissed them off and just like, well, too much cheese in the tackle.
And it was a bit after that too when he's sucking on that woman's breast and then he's in the car with the milk tash. I actually totally forgot about that bit as well, but that was good as well.
Mm-hmm.
As everyone kind of echoed it, it is a proper nostalgia fest to kind of read back and watching it, and it is one of those, although there are a few comments or jokes that would be sort of cancel cultured in 2022, but it still is that there's still that many sort of belly laughing, proper laugh out loud moments that is definitely up there as for probably one of the ones that would rank probably your best comedies for that era is definitely up there. And kind of, as we said, it probably is argumentatively probably Jim Carrey's best role. But again, you're probably getting the best of him because he's get to do that sort of split personality role, and you're kind of getting a proper range of his acting ability. I mean, it also, obviously his comedic roles is his bread and butter, and obviously this is the one role that he nails to a T. And there's just so I just touched on Daniel the wider scope. I mean, you're not as if there's every person that has a line or words in that film contributes to the whole story from start to finish, and it's a great watch. And again, it was one that I will probably go back, leave it a couple of years, go back and watch again, and you still get, don't kick the arse with it, you're still going to get an enjoyment factor for this no matter how many times you watch it.
Aye, man, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was looking through the cast as well, because I was like, when I looked at his son, so Anthony Anderson, I think I've seen him in loads of different stuff. He features in a lot of Steven Seagal movies. The other two I hadn't seen, and one of them was in a movie that we watched not too long ago. So the guy that played Lee Harvey, real name Mongo Brownlee. Going to leave that out there for you for a second. He was in Con Air.
Yes, he was.
There you go. So there's a.
And I remember the sort of the leader of the three sons, the one that wasn't too fat and the one that wasn't muscly, the middle one.
Anthony Anderson.
I remember him from Hang Time.
Hang Time.
She was in a couple of scary movies and that. Is it all kind of the sort of early noughties comedies? He's definitely in a few of them as well.
I want to say he's in, because he's in The Departed.
Yeah.
But I want to say it's like Exit Wounds or something with like DMX and Steven Seagal.
Yes, he's in that. That's a terrible movie.
That was on my list of potential movies when I was looking through for you guys. Just it was one of those ones that I watched far too much when I was younger.
So bad. I saw it at the cinema, but terrible film.
Well, Hunter, let's lead into some trivia that we've not already stolen from you.
Right, I'll try and paraphrase the ones that you've already stolen into as if it's new information that you're hearing for the first time. So, in the breastfeeding scene, Jim Carrey actually sucked on Sharon Berry's real breast, which had milk in them, so she must have been...
Oh my! I knew that it was like he was definitely sucking on it. I never knew that part. That is right.
So it's real breast milk that he's actually got. So he was so humiliated afterwards that he had to clear the set as well as apologise to her before each take. So it wasn't just one scene; it just went back from there.
Wait, let's digest that a little bit. So he would clear the set, because he felt humiliated that he had to suck on her tit.
Well, she was producing milk.
But he was quite happy to go back for seconds because that's how embarrassed he was.
I'm sure with his acting ability, he could have nailed that scene in one take.
I mean, the one thing I would say about that is, would it really have mattered to this movie in any way if that was just a prosthetic boob? I mean, come on. There's no need for that. There's absolutely no need for that to have been done like that. Fair enough for this, like, if this was some gritty, hardcore fucking movie that had to show things in realism, but come on, the fuck, just have a plastic titty.
He's played a blinder there.
He has. Also, the actors who played Charlie's triplets have an age range of 11 years.
Aye, so because the heaviest guy I recognise from Old School. Have you ever seen Old School?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He just plays the fat guy again, I suppose. But I'd imagine he's the youngest. I'd imagine the guy for Con Air is the oldest. Is that right?
I'm on it. Don't worry, Hunter. More trivia.
Right, so there are several moments throughout this movie that Hank whistles along with the soundtrack, but Charlie never does. This could either be a simple fourth wall break, or it could be implying that Hank is somehow aware of the music.
And Burnsy's not aware of it.
No.
Just on the age range, so actually Anthony Anderson's character was born in 1970. Mongo Brownlee was born in 1971, and then the one that you mentioned from Old School was born in 1981.
Aye, he's definitely the youngest. He looked 10 years younger than the other two.
But again, so like, just going back to the sort of bits of comedy on it, he's eating the crisps as a wee boy, and he gets told, how can you eat so many of them, stay so slim? So I'm just lucky, I suppose. In the next series, he's the biggest guy you've ever seen, just still eating chips. Sorry.
I don't. I'm hoping this isn't. Do you have any Foo Fighters related trivia, Hunter?
No, but I did see it about the video for Breakout.
Aye, one of the things I remember a lot is some scenes for this movie. I was like, where are those scenes? And I remember those scenes were only in the music video.
Yeah.
So, like, in the Foo Fighters music video, you get to see the woman and the limo driver guy going on dates, and the wee limo driver's got his dick in the popcorn and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was in this film, but I was just remembering the music video.
So as we touched on with the role of Whitey, so Michael Bowman got the role by answering an ad for acting lessons. He has since somewhat regretted taking the role due to the on-screen discrimination of his character gets. And also, as you touched on, Kyle, it's his only ever film role. He did do a couple of small television roles, but are we just being a little bit, would you say if you're being albinist, would you think you've seen him in loads of other films?
Albinist.
Kyle the albinist.
And as Burnsy touched on earlier, there was another actor who turned down the role of Charlie/Hank. Would anyone like to take a guess of who turned it down?
Eddie Murphy.
Nope.
I've seen it.
I don't think that joke with the limo driver would have worked as well with Eddie Murphy.
No. Unless it was the employer was the limo driver.
Will Ferrell.
Nope.
I have no idea.
Burnsy's Googling comedy actors.
Oh no, I just had a phone call, so I'm saying that we're doing a stream.
It's still not a stream, guys. We've been months. We've actually been recording since last October. No streams.
We'll still be calling that in 5 years' time when we're talking Apple and everything. Still be calling that a stream.
I'll put you at your misery. It was Jack Black.
Oh, I can sort of see that actually. I wouldn't have been as good.
No, I don't like that.
They would watch School of Rock, the main guy for School of Rock.
Oh, right, okay, I know who that is. But no, I wouldn't have worked that well.
No, I don't like that one.
It's one of those performances where you can't change it. It's him. Yeah. It's Jim Carrey, and that's it. Well, Hunter, if you're done with trivia, we can jump on to scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, it was your movie. You take us away.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Hunter?
I'll go for a 3.25 out of 5.
3.25. Burnsy?
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
3.5. Daniel?
I'm going to give this a 3.75.
A 3.75. And I'm going to give it a 3.5. Because a film that we're on the same page with, guys.
Aye, man.
Where does that then take us to, Burnsy?
That's a 3.6.
A 3.6, which actually puts us as number 41 on our list, just below Mrs. Doubtfire and Uncut Gems, but above What's Eating Gilbert Grape and Halloween.
There we go. This is why people hate us, because they would look at that list and think, me, myself, Irene should be lower, but fuck you all. It's our opinion.
Exactly.
we stick to how we dealt with the movie, what our thoughts were, rather than what everybody else thinks. Everyone else can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Daniel.
One else going to fuck themselves. We did. If you are one of those people, thanks for asking some questions on Instagram today.
But still, go fuck yourselves.
Aye, still go fuck yourselves. But no, we got a good question from our old friend of the show. What we're watching tonight is his Instagram. So if you want to go and give him a watch, give him a follow. But the question is, which one of the 5 of us is the best fighter?
I know who will say they're the best fighter, but I don't think that's the question. So Kyle says the best fighter.
Why would I say I'm the best fighter?
Is that just because he's been in most the best?
Aye, but he gets battered every time.
That's why he's has to get. That's why he's had about 27 nose jobs because he's been battered that much.
So
Hey, guys, I will, as a non-fighter and the lover of the group, I'll let you decide first to put your cases forward as to who you think is the best fighter, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong and it's me.
I would certainly say that you're getting the most fights, like by a long way. You're by far the most likely to get into a fight. The only time I've not been in a fight for 15 to 20 years. I don't think there's really any excuses on adult to get into a fight. But the closest I've been in recent years has probably been because of people in this chat. Well, in fact,
no, the closest was you, Daniel, with that boy in Rossi when you just walked away laughing.
That story. So we went away to watch the Scotland game, and there was a big group of England fans randomly on the Scottish island that were, and we were just chatting away afterwards. Sorry, Sean?
No, I was just laughing. I forgot about that.
I forgot about it as well until Hunter just mentioned it.
Where was that? I missed this.
You missed it. It was me, Sean, and Hunter were left at this point. And we were just talking to this big group of guys, and there was an older guy. He must be about 50. So his big shaved head and a big belly. Looked like a typical England fan. And basically he said he had this conspiracy theory that England drew 0-0 on purpose so that they could finish second and get a better draw in the next round. And I went, so I basically said, don't talk fucking shite and say that it was stupid and walked away from him. And he climbed his fence and and kept trying to fight with me. All I remember doing is standing there saying, I'm not going to fight with you whilst smoking my joint. While Sean to keep jumping in between, and the more that I kept just standing there and going, I'm not going to fight you, it seemed to make him more and more angry.
Why did I miss it and all the good stuff?
My abiding memory of that is his son coming over the fence whilst I'm trying to restrain his dad from swinging for you, and his son going to me, don't punch my dad. I was like, well, fucking take him home then.
That was really sad because his sons must have been about 18. His dad was making a cunt himself. I felt really bad for them because the look on their face, like they were really kind of worried that we were going to batter his dad, which we weren't going to batter his dad. No, we were just obviously trying to just get him to calm down and get him away for Daniel. I forgot about that.
I had no idea this happened. I didn't even remember hearing about this.
No, I was spoken to the following day.
It was on the kind of the garden bit. It was just outside our room, where the two wee benches were. That's where it was. Really stupid.
And another time I remember is we went to. You guys will have more fighting stories. So I don't come on these big white nights out. But when we went to the wrestling at Walkabout, and Burnsy got chucked out because he thought you were on drugs, but you were just hammered.
No, actually, that's not true because the guy said, because obviously Burnsy went to the toilet and as he was coming back, he's getting marched out by a bouncer, and the bouncer says, I caught him doing cocaine in the toilet, and I was just laughed and I goes, no, you didn't. You absolutely did not.
Got something to tell you, boys.
Aye, and then I think what you're going to say, Daniel, is when Neely was outside and he was got my head, but the bouncer, and I had to sprint after him up that street towards Walkabout. Oh man, fucking embarrassing.
So get back to the question. Should we all get some boxing gloves and just have a go and see and try and figure it out?
Yes, please.
No,
Yes.
Nate kicks allowed, Kyle. Nate kicks
That's fine.
allowed.
I'm too fat to kick now anyway.
I'm more of a grappler than a puncher.
If you're listening and you want to see a round robin and the morons battling it out, we'll record it and stick it on Instagram. Just let us know. I'm up for that.
You're so violent at your core. You're cracking your knuckles at the thought of that. Did you notice that?
You guys just really throw us against one another, Kyle.
Can we not just the kind of use I've got the UFC game? Can we not just create the 5 of us and just create a tournament on that and just see who's the winner and determine?
I don't know if it goes up to my weight class.
I would have you
UFC tournament, right?
I don't know, my Jake Galena character would light these all up. We're not a violent bunch. We're a good bunch. We're all friends, but we all know it. Fuck it, all 4 of these at once.
I would actually hate to be known as the best fighter of our group.
It just makes it. It just means that you getting enough fights that folk would have an opinion of that.
See, I take it as obviously as a trained martial artist.
You do Taekwondo. It's not even a fucking martial art.
I've been waiting for Daniel to hit with it.
Aye, the spitting in that is weird. There was folks that in my primary school that had black belts by primary 7. Come on.
Kyle's still working towards his game time.
He's been a blue belt with the red little bits of electric tape for a long time now.
I mean, when I was younger, my dad always said, they wanted to get me into like some kind of sport, so he took me to Taekwondo. And
you burst in your first lesson.
I didn't even do it. I sat on the sidelines and I was like, I'm not doing it. And I was getting up and I started greeting, and my dad was like, why? And then like somebody came over and goes, are you annoying this child? And my dad was like, that's my son. And I was like, I don't want to do it because I didn't want to get my feet out. I didn't want to take my socks off. So I've never done
it. Sean's foot fetish. Sean loves martial arts and UFC, but he wouldn't do it because he'd see folks' feet.
No, obviously, I was a wee boy then. I'm quite glad I never done it as well because it's not my thing.
Nah, no for me. Although, remember just before lockdown, me, you and Kyle were talking about going to grappling classes.
No way.
We talked about a lot of things during lockdown.
I don't remember that.
We should go back for it. I wonder if that naked grappling class is still going. Well, listen, we've clearly established Chrissy's question of who the winner would be in the fight, but if we will arrange it, guys, we'll sort it out. You can get that white collar boxing thing going on. We'll do that. All 5 of us sign up.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. We've still done this fucking basketball 2-on-2 a few months ago.
Oh, I was too busy trying to make it to the NBA to care about fighting in my youth days.
Well, instead of like chess boxing, we could do basketball boxing, a couple of rounds of each.
What's that? Just bounce a ball off everybody's fucking head.
No, hoops counts as knockdowns or something. I don't know. We'll work out the rules. It could be. Remember that film with the guys that did South Park?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Aye.
I feel like I've watched that in the last year.
Nah, it's a long time since I've watched it. They've got a lot funnier with age. Like South Park now is fucking hilarious, but the old ones not so much.
Oh, well, maybe we'll leave that for another day. But let's talk about the next movie that we do have on the list. In fact, before we go there, like I said, we didn't have any questions particularly come through on Twitter, but there was one that I think that we may have asked before, but I'm going to ask again. What was the most recent movie that you've cried at?
Well, not a movie, but Stranger Things 2 days ago.
Wow.
So I've not seen Stranger Things.
I was welling up. I wasn't greeting, but I was welling up, and I had to like compose myself.
Were you getting it there?
No, I wasn't panting or that. No, I didn't pant. I'm 32-year-old. I do not pant when I get upset.
Stranger Things, that's interesting.
I was going to say, so I was thinking about you at the Scotland game last night. I would maybe disagree with that.
What? Panting?
No panting when you get upset.
I wasn't panting. I was just angry. Can't you watch a Scotland game in peace?
And then he went out and fight him.
No, he ended up having our fag. He only had about 6 last night. It's fine.
Went out and smoked a fag.
I'm trying to think what's made me cry. Because it's quite easy to get me close to being upset. So there's too many. Like, I nearly cried at an episode of Rick and Morty once. Like, it's a cartoon. But like, it was sad. Loads of things make me sad.
I was welling up watching an episode of The Good Doctor last night.
This isn't the most recent, but has any of you ever seen Hachiko, A Dog's Tale, or Hachi?
No.
Fuck me, man. Like, long story short, right, it's about a dog whose owner dies, and every day this dog would go to the train station and wait for his owner every day at 5 o'clock, and they'd walk home together.
Oh, then I'm going to start greeting now.
And his owner dies, and he goes back, and he does it every single day. He then becomes like a homeless dog that just waits at the train station every day for his dead owner that's never going to come back. And then
Oh man, I can't watch it now.
at the end, the dog just dies alone at the train station. That's
Oh,
it.
Fuck's sake.
Do you know what's so funny? Because obviously I've got a 7-8 month old puppy. It's a year ago I wouldn't have cared less about animals dying and.
I know you've been rating of animals even on this podcast in the early days.
See now, see now, if there's any kind of upsetting an animal or any cruelty, fucking that's me. I'll be greeting.
Aye.
My mum and dad's dog got attacked at the weekend by another dog, got bit. So he's got a wee collar on him, a cone on him now. It's quite a big chunk it took out of him to wee shame.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing sadder than an animal with a cone. One of our cats had needed one along, and they just sit there fucking miserable. Like this is
it's a shame, Luke.
Well, Burnsy, have you ever cried at a movie?
I think I said when I was watching Silver Linings Playbook, I thought I was welling up a wee bit to it then scene. I'm sure I said that in the podcast.
Oh.
But
do you not
I
mean
think I did say
swelling
that.
up at the Jennifer Lawrence scenes, no?
Sorry?
Do you not mean swelling up at the Jennifer Lawrence?
Jesus Christ.
That was just our iPhone leaks.
Hunter forward them on,
No, I can't really remember ones that I've. My memory's shocking though, so there will be. I'm quite easy to get. If I'm watching something, I get emotional watching it. I would say, but and I don't remember them. That's the problem.
I had a conversation. Oh, sorry, Hunter, on you go.
I think we discussed this at the time in what may have been the Only Out chat, but I was watching that Sir Alex documentary. I think at the end of that, when he came back after his brain tumor or whatever, that he came back and walked in, he got his reception at Old Trafford. That was emotional. But apart from that, the only other time I can remember getting emotional was on a flight back home from Dubai once, and it was in the Emirates, so I was getting plied fully. Like it was like a red wine and a Jack Daniels, but it was a double. So I sat and watched the Amy Winehouse documentary, and I was like, you know, the plane watching that through red wine and Jack Daniels. Oh man.
Oh, some interesting choices of films to cry at. And the reason this came to my mind is there's a film that it's been played in my house a few times in the last couple of weeks because Poppy loves it. And every time it comes on, within about 30-40 minutes into it, Sarah's fucking greeting her eyes out. Disney's Encanto.
Good movie. Very good movie.
Very good movie. And I found myself tearing up a couple of times watching Encanto.
Well, do you know what I think's better than that is Coco. That's.
See, I've not watched Coco all the way through.
Coco is good.
But so here's what: did these ones make you cry or not? The Green Mile.
Never seen it.
What?
Never seen it.
I've seen it.
Next.
Even I've seen that one. I don't think it did though. I think it's more the romance ones that get me emotional. I'm just a big softie.
Maybe the end of Mean Machine where Danny Dyer scores that goal. That's an emotional film at the end of that, like with the music playing in the background.
But Burnsy's watching the montage of Al McCoist and Photoshop Celtic tops. Shot in glory. Which just Rangers tops blended green with saturation. It's fucking horrific. Oh well, guys, let's wrap up our emotional stories before we all start and have a good cry, and we'll talk about the next movie. Sean, what was the next movie that we were going for?
Caliber.
So Caliber, a Netflix original, 2018 movie. A shock indeed turned their weekend trip into a nightmare. Now their only hope is to swallow their paranoia and act normal. Starring the guy that plays Paige's big brother in the Page movie. I can't remember what it's called.
Fighting with My Family.
Fighting with My Family. There we go. That's the fella. But Sean, take us away with your thoughts.
So I first watched this because this has been spoken about quite a lot. Because I can remember in the old chat, like I'd mentioned, I don't know how. I think it was during lockdown. I said, "Oh, I watched this film called Caliber. You should watch it." And then it's been a bit of a kind of running joke since then, mainly by one of our pals who would bring it up a lot of the time. Anyway, so I thought, why not just fling it in this week? But for me, it's quite an enjoyable watch. It's not going to win any fucking massive awards or anything like that, but I found it to be quite kind of like it was quite kind of filled with suspense throughout it. Obviously, with what happens when he shoots the wee boy. I can remember watching it at the time, and I never expected that to happen because I never knew what the film was about. I just kind of stuck it on. So it kind of shocked me a wee bit. I don't know if any of you guys kind of seen it coming or that, or maybe if you kind of read about it before, but it kind of gets you thinking about what you would do if you were in that situation. Because if you go hunting, obviously, with guns, like, it's like a million to one that would ever happen. Obviously, the boy's just there, exactly behind the deer, and the deer ducks doing at that exact point. But I just kind of watching them try to cover it up. Obviously, one of them seems to cope with it a bit better than the other one. The other one's kind of breaking down completely. And then obviously it kind of drags on and on with her trying to leave, but they're getting kind of called to like that kind of party, the outside party when they first start hunting for them. But I did enjoy it again. It's the second time I've seen it. It's quite an easy watch, quite kind of, I suppose, keeps you on the edge of your seat. I suppose it does a quite good job of that, and it isn't like kind of long drawn out. Obviously, the incident happens. They then bury the bodies. They go back to try to act normal, but one of them isn't really acting normal. He kind of stands out like a sore thumb. He's in the bathroom spewing and stuff like that. The ending was a bit kind of over the top, where they just take matters into their own hand and obviously make him kill his pal. I think in obviously kind of 99% of the time they would just phone the police and say, these guys have killed 2 people, you can deal with them or whatever. But it did get a bit over the top at that point, but I don't really mind it. Obviously a really kind of rural Scottish town where everybody knows everybody type thing. There's probably only one policeman who's probably got the easiest job in the world. But I'm glad I got the chance to watch it again, and obviously looking forward to hearing what you guys think of it. But it's a nice, easy watch for me. It's quite a well done film. Keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's just a nice wee bonus that it's a Scottish film as well.
I was just reading back some of the messages, Sean, from the time where you were touting Caliber in the chat. Although I don't know if you were the first person to tout it. It seems like Dave was the first person to tout it.
I got Dave to watch it, so I'd watched it and I'd text Dave to tell him to watch it.
Okay.
And then he started. I think he might have mentioned it in the chat first, but I can remember telling Dave because Dave liked it as well, I'm sure.
So I'm just going to read some of the highlights that popped up to me from the chat. So Daniel said, after you suggested to Daniel, just watch Caliber, he put, nah, I'm looking for something better than just a Scottish indie flick.
It's been a dick for no reason.
And Neely's put, Caliber sounds class, said nae cunt ever. Daniel, just twat lads kicking about B Craigs.
It is actually filmed at B Craigs, by the way.
Yes.
Is
it?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Wow. Nearly, Daniel's not going to sit and watch that pish on a Tuesday night.
Well, he watched it on a fucking Thursday morning.
Thursday night instead.
Nearly, I enjoy all Scottish movies, apart from one's filmed at B Craigs. Daniel, I bet it's a 4 out of 10 amplified to a 7 because it's Scottish. Daniel, I might just give Aberdeen a watch.
Oh, Aberdeen.
So that's what I remember is me mentioning Aberdeen and that becoming a thing. That's the only bit I remember about that. So we should probably watch Aberdeen at some point.
Oh
God.
I feel like we need to get Dave back on if we do ever watch Aberdeen because that was tempted by him as well.
And then there was just a wee bit later where Neely kept saying, just watch Caliber, and Sean was getting frustrated with him. So this is I want to say this is maybe the third time that I've watched this now as well, and it does, like, B Craigs is just around the corner for me as well. So when this got picked, I kept going on to Sarah, but we should watch it. It's filmed in B Craigs, although you can only really tell for a wee bit of it that it's actually B Craigs. But what I just watched it a couple of hours ago. The scene where he's shooting the deer is so well done, to the point you get the little flicker just before the gun gets shot that there's something behind the deer. Mm-hmm. And watching this with Sarah, who hadn't seen it before, there was a proper shock. Like, she was unbelievably shocked at that point. Like, the question that we were then talking about is, what would you do? Like, what would you do at that point? Because you've got the boy that's fired the bullet who wants to do the right thing. He wants to notify. He wants to like go to the police and tell what's happened. But then you've got his friend who's a little devil on his shoulder of, you're stinking of whiskey, like the gun's not even yours, like we're going to go to jail. So for me, that whole like conundrum that they had just was really interesting. But then obviously the movie spirals for them. It just constantly kicks in with that paranoia. That small little cliquey town where everybody knows everybody. There's a lot of bits where I thought just seemed really, really strange, and I don't know if it would actually happen in real life, in the sense where like you and your pal go away to this random wee town that happens to have a festival on that night. Would they really come and chap your hotel room door to ask you to come out to it?
That was a bit that I struggled with, to be honest, was like the incessant need for these two guys to be involved in all this stuff, but like having it like keep up a season, all that. That seemed all a wee bit weird, but aye.
So that was the bit that was frustrating me through it, because they were like, "Oh, we need to go back. It'd be weird if we didn't go to the restaurant and have a meal. Get in your car and fuck off."
Aye.
Aye.
Wouldn't make a very good movie, mind you, but.
Oh, but then you're forgetting the scene where the whole town came in to watch a guy slash his fucking tyres that morning. So
and they're all drinking. They're all drinking as well. They all brought their pints outside with them to watch a guy get his tyres slashed.
To be fair, them going in quite a lot of like the Scottish Islands and stuff like that. That is what it's like. Everyone drinks dives. Everyone just fucking. If something like that happened, everyone would just come in and watch. Nobody would do fuck all. It would just be a wee spectator sport.
But they do well to set it up, obviously, but they set up what's going to happen kind of bluntly in your face, like I've got the names here actually. The boy Logan, who's obviously like the main top guy of the town, being at the bar, and folk like the wee sex pest guy listening to him straight away as soon as he got told. So you set up, right, so this is the big guy, this is the guy we need to be worried about. And then you got told not to go near the lassie because she was trouble, and like, oh, it's on your head, be it sort of thing. So it does paint a really well picture of what's going to happen in the film, but it is really enjoyable. It is a really good movie. One that I think I would watch again in the future. I actually think the boy that plays Vaughn's really good. He's really good in that Fighting With My Family as well. I think he's actually quite a good actor. I wasn't overly convinced by the guy that played Marcus. But maybe that's because he's supposed to frustrate the life out of you. He's just a selfish wanker, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought he was quite weak as an actor, to be honest.
I'm the same. I'm opposite to you in terms of the actor skill.
I don't think the overall cast was great, but again, it's a local movie to an extent. But I thought the main guy Vaughn was good. I think he played his character quite well. The guy that played Logan was quite good. The guy that played Brian, like, I didn't really get his character. Like, he's the fucking local psychopath. Like, how many people has he willingly just killed? Quite happy. That they're quite happy. Like, I thought that was quite a strange dynamic as well, where he's slashing tires and headbutting because he pumped the daughter of a pal.
Aye, of a pal. That was I didn't get that either. Like, I
just make it his daughter.
That he got a full of the cocaine. He got that pumped him and got a full of the cocaine. That was his fucking line.
It's a good accent, that, Hunter.
I flew and choked her.
I was going to say, you're already Scottish. I don't know why you're picking on an Irish accent.
So I just like just take away the line daughter or my pal. It was my daughter that you gave cocaine to, and my daughter that you pumped, and nobody does that here because I'm the hard guy here, and everybody's straight to me. And that gives more of a reason for him to be a dick to this guy, because he's been embarrassed in the town, which never normally happens. But then they hint that lassie goes around like a draft around everybody and causes trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's probably one of the communities where they're all interbred anyway. So
they did all seem to be related, because the dead guy was a brother and of Logan, and the other guy was the brother of Logan. So there's at least 3 of those, and then obviously everyone else seemed to be somehow connected. You know what it's like? I think they were hinting towards that most of them are all one big family.
there was loads of little bits. There is bits that really annoys me in it. So like the guy Al that sat at the table with him after he got his fucking nose squeezed after it had been broken, they got the pints poked for him. He was so inquisitive to a really like suspicious way. We had no reason to be that suspicious about them.
Exactly. Aye, that's where I disconnect with this a wee bit. I'll talk a bit more when it's my turn. But
and then and like the wee guy, they got to get fuel off him, and the guy's just a dick.
It's weird.
And it's like, Logan told me about yous. Well, if Logan's running about telling everybody there's two random guys here, surely let's milk them for as much money as we can and then let them fuck off because the town's on its arse. Sorry, I'm going to rant, but Bungie, we'll come to you because I'm assuming, once again, this is a first-time watch.
That's correct. So you've got 1 out of 2 right tonight. Almost
Jackpot.
50%. So I thought, I didn't actually realise that Vaughn's character was played by this guy that was in Fighting With Your Family or Fighting. Was it Fighting With Your Family or Fighting something like that? Whatever.
Fighting With My Family, Zack Knight.
I didn't realise he was in that film too, but I thought the opposite in terms. I thought Mark McCann that played Marcus, I thought he was class. I thought he came across as really believable, whereas I thought the actor that played Vaughn was quite wooden, similar to Daniel. I just didn't find him that believable. It just seemed a bit. I don't know if that's partly because of the way it was meant to be, but it just seemed as if there was really nothing to his character, and I didn't really feel that when he was on the screen as much. If he was on the screen on his own, or whether he wasn't really getting me was when he was trying to give his emotions, etc. At the start, I didn't think I would probably buy into the film because it was based on like hunting. I thought this is going to like be boring me, but obviously that's only like a small part of it. I thought it set the scene quite well, as we've already discussed, and I didn't see the bit about the wee boy being shot coming. Like I thought they were just going to go off hunting. Something was obviously going to happen, but I didn't see that. I didn't pick up when you said there was something at the corner of your eye that you spotted you spotted something that was going to happen.
I think it helped that I've seen the movie, so I knew what was going on.
Right, so that came out of the blue for me. I thought that the reactions of the two guys in terms of Vaughn and Marcus, like they were spot on the way that obviously they're acting. One's sort of giving them, one's wanting to admit to everything, whilst the other's giving him all the issues that will cause, based on his sort of aggressive nature as well. On with that, when you talked about the slashing the tires, that was quite a good idea in terms of to build it into the story, because obviously at that point they're thinking, oh, do they know about the burials, etc. Because they're obviously torn. They don't know what's happened. Obviously know that might have been because he's pumped the lassie, but their big concern is, have they found about the shootings that have happened? But there was like a few bits that just I didn't really get, because in terms of storyline, so they've been asked to help at the woods to try and think that people are missing, right? And before they've even got out the Jeep, they're saying, I think this could be a setup, right? So they think it could be a setup. Their Jeep's been fixed, but yet they're still going to drive along to it. Why would you just turn around and drive home? That's stupid.
I do get that, but I think they're trying to play the part of like, hopefully we're still going to get out of this, like that blind optimism that they're. But
you get out if you just turned and went home, because that's what they're wanting to do. And according to obviously their thoughts, their Jeep has been fixed. Obviously it needed to be done that way to achieve the outcome of the movie, but just don't say that you're thinking, oh, maybe they're on to us, because that just makes them come across as idiots by still going and helping them. Because if you thought somebody knew you'd killed 2 people and buried their bodies, you wouldn't be too inclined to go and help them try and find them, would you?
Just to jump in here as well, I also think this is a massive issue with the plot. Is there's a big party going on, a big festival, and there was loads of guys there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they calling 2 random people that are not from the area to come help in a search party when there was loads of other guys there?
Well, I think the implication is. Sorry, I was going to say, I think the implication is that they've started to figure it out that they two might be involved.
The people that asked them there, they kind of had their rest. They thought they knew something or had done something to them. That's why they invited them. But the stupid part was the two main characters going on with it when they had their initial doubts. I thought the ending in terms of, I didn't really feel like, because I didn't like the character Vaughn that much, I didn't think the ending worked that well for me because I didn't really care about him too much in the film. But also, like, so they've decided to let him survive and kill it as long as he kills his pal. But it was never really explained if they, for all they knew, they didn't really go into depth how they knew that he was the one that it was a mistake in killing the wee boy. His only reason they've let him survive is because he didn't pump that lassie. That was like the only.
No, was it? No,
He told
when
the story.
He had the heart to heart, not the heart to heart, but they sit down with the other older guy, and he explained, oh, yeah, the kind of the dialogue just kind of fade out and it goes a bit silent while he's sitting greeting, but he kind of it's a whole mistake, and then the guy comes and chaps the door and says, oh, we've got the other one, bring him. So I think obviously there must be a talk where he'd vigilante tricked her and the other old boy, and he says obviously he's no as in the wrong as what the other one is. But again, as you say, you don't actually see that discussion take place.
They've just believed him off the bat.
Or Burnsy, you could take it as, what is the bigger punishment? Is it dying or having to live with the fact that you killed this little boy and you killed your best pal and you've got to live with it?
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of the ways I was thinking about it.
Right.
I just say, whilst he's then got to then raise his own child as well, so he's got to live with that guilt.
Which obviously touched at the end scene, which I thought that was quite a good way to end it, because obviously it still just registers back and goes that he's not over it, and he'll probably never get over it, because he's killed a wee boy by mistake, and he's had to shoot his best pal. I guess it makes you wonder, if you were in that position, what would you do? Which I don't know if that's what the point of the film was meant to do, in terms of like, if you're put in that scenario, could you actually shoot your best pal so that you can survive, or would you be like he was like at the start and then say, nah, I can't do it, you'll just have to, there's no way I can manage to pull the trigger. But no, I thought the film was pretty good. I definitely enjoyed it more than what I would have thought I was going to start off with, because I thought it was a lot more it was going to be based on hunting, which just, when I saw the sort of brief sort of 2-line, 3-line synopsis, I was like, nah. So it was definitely a positive, the way they carried the film on, and how there was all the background story and all those kind of things. There was just a couple of issues with the plot that I had more than anything, which were the downsides, and also one of the main characters who I just didn't really click with. But was class.
Well, guys, I'm just to carry on on that Burnsy said there, I'll absolutely put hand on heart that if I was in that scenario there, well, any one of you guys was sitting down in front of me and I was given a rifle, there'd be not a second's hesitation, that bullet would be straight between your eyes.
Well, in fact, as best fighter, you wouldn't even need a gun. You could
just drop the gun, crack the knuckles. I'll sort this today, guys. I put a show on for you.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Hunter. That would probably be a highlight of his year if he was able to just, somebody told him, right, you need to go and...
I'm going to start going visit. To be fair, Burnsy, me, you and Daniel are going to be going to Cardiff soon, and maybe rebook us somewhere a bit out in the wild.
Awesome.
Mind we once all said we were going to go camping one night.
Live off the land.
No, I see you said that. I don't think I agreed to that.
Some amount of shit. Live off the land. It lasts about 25 minutes, so somebody's phone would go dead, somebody be away home.
The morons go camping, that's one for a special episode, like.
Jesus Christ. I don't think we'd all make it back.
No.
Somebody's getting killed in a fucking sheep hut somewhere up in the local house.
Oh.
I'd probably get lost on my way there with my sense of direction, so I'll be the one that doesn't even go.
Well, Hunter, let's get your thoughts. Hunter, had you seen this one before?
I hadn't, and I kind of, as I was talking about it with Sean on Saturday, kind of my abiding memory, all I can remember, like, for that chat we kind of touched on earlier on in the group chat, I don't know if it was someone getting shot, so in my mind, I can't remember if it was that the big reveal from the start of the film was mentioned in the chat back then, but I was about someone getting shot. So I'm kind of watched it. Obviously, you see Vaughn's like he's a bit scared about going camping or whatever. So I thought, or maybe it's like a sort of coming of age. Maybe he plucks up the courage, and by the end of the film, he's able to shoot the deer. But when the wee boy gets obviously shot at the start, I'm like, oh, it does a shock. It does grab you in, and you kind of. For a film I'd initially written off because of the berating it had received in our group chat, I'm hooked at that point.
Hunter, can I jump in for a wee second just about the bit about the group chat, because I'm just reading back here and you say something that's dead interesting. So it gets into the section that our good friend Neil that never listens to us, so you won't know we're talking about him. But he puts in here, no one will be watching Caliber. Daniel said, I've got about 40 odd things on my watch list, so this is not one of them. Daniel just being a dick. Dave said that the bit doesn't need said for a Caliber watch. Okay. And then it goes a little bit, the bit. And then Hunter put, unless there is a fair bit of Roger in it and bangers in it with guns and anxiety, then I doubt I'll be watching.
There we go. To be fair, that is enough. Touching on a very one-liner Soprano synopsis, which was guns and anxiety.
Oh, and then Sean, I do see here that Dave did acknowledge that it was Barney's film. He discovered it.
Well, I wouldn't say I discovered it. It was fucking, I never put it on Netflix.
And then, so then it goes. So did Barney think they were just going to shoot the deer? That'd have been some storyline. Shoot deer, go home. A good 12-minute film.
That's what I can remember was about Dave getting shot for the start.
And then Daniel put shoot person instead of deer ? And then it was like the bit.
So that was actually what made me not want to watch this for ages, because Dave made it far too obvious what was happening there by saying that, and that actually was what genuinely put me off, even though I was being a dick before then.
And then because then you put this in B Craig. This in B Craig's is all I know about this film. Sorry, I just thought that was quite funny. So there wasn't enough Roger in for you to see, or any bangers at all.
Well, there was guns and there was the anxiety, just no Roger. Although there was Roger, we just never got to see it take place.
That's true.
So kind of after that was bought in, and kind of with what you were touching on earlier, Bumsy, like the film doesn't become the film it does unless his pal who then shoots the da of the wee boy who's been shot, because after, as any normal person, I'd imagine if we were in that situation, we're doing you go hold your hands up and you fucking day the time for you to explain the situation, you've got a witness and you take it for there. But because the da of the wee boy has been killed as part of this, which turns out to be Chukta vigilante group where the fucking the law's in their hands and no one else's.
Yeah.
That his pal would have been dead, so he obviously steps up, but his only noble deed as a person in this whole film, because he's a cunt for the rest of it, as Marcus. Shoots the guy dead, and that's how the story then folds on from there. So as I said, they then embed themselves in the community after. In fact, they did the night before when they go to a quiet pub, but it's like the most depressing pub ever. Like at one point, the next day you can, the fucking jukebox is on and everyone's best pals. They're all doing the fucking Cotton Eye Joe dance and whatever else with all the fucking and then the next thing, you go up, they go hungry there. I mean, how they were in the fit state to drive is beyond me.
Oh well, they tell you why Marcus is ready to go. He had a couple of live.
He's drinking.
He's had a live now as the PC to he's had a live now in the morning. So they go out to do that. The things get happening in the shot. They come back, and then as I said, it's the guilt eats in. But then this Marcus, he's like so blasé. We'll just do this. It'll be fine. And then obviously it starts to unravel what they've done the night before, the repercussions. So it all starts tying in. Why they've then got to stay in this? They then get. As you said, it's such a weird concept. As you said, there's meant to be this festival. So if you're having a festival where it's just all the same people for this wee village doing shit, how shite is that going to be? Or you've got a such and such goes up and does karaoke, somebody goes and does fucking comedy for half an hour. What is this festival? Sure, you've got other outsiders other than these two guys coming to this village for this fucking one night, which appears to be on a Sunday night for some reason, going by the timeline for when they go up for the Friday, I'm presuming.
I'm right to say as well, Hunter, that they didn't even know this festival was on, did they?
No, they didn't know. It's like, oh, just by chance you're here, we're having the festival 2 days after you're here.
I just the concept. a random guy who's not really explained who he is and why he's so hard, because it's like, he won't do anything if I'm here.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest, biggest psychopath in the village won't do anything because you're there. Like, all right. And he just chaps the door and he's like, we really need you down at the festival. Or, well, we're going to have a quiet one tonight. Surely that's end of discussion. You wouldn't insist that much.
I was like, no, you're coming, that's it. And then obviously there's that exchange. You have to do and go get the what's it, the tires. The boy's like, it's fucking £1,500. And the guy's like, oh, for £1,500, I expect this done. And it's like, I'll fucking tell you when it's done. Fucking tap the fuck.
No wonder their town's dying. Fuck them. And
for some reason, I remember this right. Is it randomly snowing at that garage? In my mind, it was just like randomly snowing at that garage.
Oh, yeah.
The van went into.
I think they're suggesting that it's a lot further north. Is what they're suggesting.
I mean, but still, there was no other snow anywhere else. Oh,
No.
right.
Yeah.
Also, the plate of meat that he gets served is fucking horrendous.
Oh, it is. I wouldn't.
Oh, that looks good.
Oh,
the meat looks awesome.
I don't even think he was sick because of the fact he'd murdered a child. It was due to the undercooked steak that he had to.
Oh, are you all fucking plebs that get well done steaks?
No, I'm a medium guy, but that looks like...
I like a rare steak, but that looked fucking
medium
awesome.
as well, or medium well done.
That steak just looked like it was been de-skinned and never been fucking even attempted to be...
Wait, sorry, what one person's not giving their opinion on steak yet, Sean?
Actually, when I was in Aviemore, Laurie's brother-in-law fancies himself as a bit of a chef. Done me a fillet steak with his proper pan and everything, like proper, like he was at it all day, like having it seasoned and then like out for 2 hours and all that stuff. So he made me it, and it was absolutely lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I even had red wine with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, makes a difference. Makes a difference.
So we'll finally get Sean off of the double cheeseburgers and onto steaks.
He had obviously he bought two fillet steaks, but me and Laurie were at Costco like the day before getting some stuff, and she had him on FaceTime so you could see all the marbling on the steaks that she was getting and all that, and how thick they were and everything. It was. I just walked away. I was I can't stand next to this.
McDonald's was at that discussion at that point.
I did really enjoy it, but it's obviously for what I said before about steaks.
Well done, Sean. Big man to admit that. I thought you'd be too stubborn and you just pretend you hated it.
No, I actually meant to bring it up to you in the chat, but I just totally forgot until obviously Kevin mentioned it there.
Well, it makes a big difference from someone knows how they're cooking it for ordering it for the Sue House. Right, Daniel, let's get some of your thoughts on the, because Trivia's not going to take long from Hunter for looking this movie.
No, fuck.
I think I'd imagine Hunter Trivia has one word and it's just B. Craig's.
That's not even in the trivia. That's
how... So right up until the point where they'd shot the dad and the wee son, I was quite enjoying this. And then after that,
like 4 minutes in,
I know. But I was thinking, I'm going to be like into this, and then it kind of just meandered on for a bit after that for me. I think it was because, see, when all that happened, I sort of created this plot in my own mind that when they went back to bury them at night, one of the bodies wasn't going to be there. That's what I had in my mind. Right?
Okay.
That's a bit of film already.
And then I thought they were going to get like hunted through the woods by these folk in the town for the rest of the film. And when they actually just like went to dinner a couple of times and like awkwardly hung about this village, I kind of got pretty bored. It's not that it's bad, it's a really good concept, but I just feel like whoever wrote this movie had written down, goes hunting and accidentally shoots child, and that was it. That's all they had when they went to start this film. And then it went, oh fuck, how do we fill an hour and a half of this? So I'd have quite liked the opening to have been a lot longer, or the ending even have been a lot longer, where they were getting tortured and having to give the information and all that sort of stuff, because really, apart from them running away, what's any evidence that it was anything to do with them?
Yeah,
because at the start, they made a point of driving to another bit of the forest to say that's where they were hunting, and they wanted to be seen there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean, like, then that didn't go anywhere? And all these weird, wee convoluted ways that, oh, you need to come down to the pub and you need to sit and have dinner with this local guy, and the suspicions seem to come from nowhere. I'm not saying it wasn't terrible. Like it's a decent movie, but I just found myself pretty disappointed by it. There's a few good lines though. Hunter was my favourite when he goes to the garage and the guy's like, "I'll be done with it. I'll be fucking finished when it's fucking finished," or whatever. It just seems so believable. I've met so many people like that. Like, can't thank this fucking Scottish grumpy bastards. But I don't know. The weirdness of all the folk in the village and all the locals being so strange, but then nothing really happening with that. Like, it was sort of on the verge of being like almost like a horror movie at points, but I never quite moved on to that. I just feel like it peaked at the wee boy getting shot and never quite got up with that bit. And I just fuck off. Like, just leave. Like, I really don't get it. If you're going to go to all the hassle of getting rid of the bodies and stuff like that, right? Put them in the back of your car and fuck off. Leave them fucking somewhere else.
Yeah, there wasn't any real need for them to go back to the hotel after that happened, was there?
No, it's going back. They went back to the hotel. They stayed all that time. Like, it just seemed like the writers didn't really know. Didn't have come up with a good way to keep them in the town.
What I thought was something that for me irked me a little bit was the little boy watches him out the window.
Yeah, it goes nowhere.
Nothing happens with it.
No.
Yeah.
But then they also show you the little boy and the mum looking at them at the festival, but then they walk away.
And they try. I think if they'd done a better job throughout it, I would have quite liked it if everyone in the village knew early, and they were all conspiring against them. Like, and I thought they would maybe even sacrifice them at this festival in some sort of weird fucking sacrifice. Something. It was all. It just didn't quite go in any direction for me. And then, see, I would have much preferred. I probably took 0.5 in my score off this because it didn't end right after he shot his pal. See, if it just ended there, I'd have been much more satisfied. But seeing his wife come and pick him up and driving him home, and I'm waiting and picking up the baby, and like, I was just like, oh, like, is this still fucking going? Like, it was a really weird anticlimactic ending for me. But it's pretty good. I like watching Scottish films. It's good seeing Scottish characters. It's good seeing B. Craig's. I loved going there as a wee kid. And I think it was a really good idea that probably didn't deserve to be made into a movie. It would be a good half an hour episode or something, maybe, but I don't know.
Sorry.
So a good half episode of River City. We could have tied that into the ongoings of Shield Edge.
So I tried to sell Sarah this by showing her the trailer, but the trailer shows you them shooting the deer. It doesn't show you them hitting the little boy, but it shows you them then falling to the ground in disgust and crying, and then the witch hunt, and you just know. So even at the point Sarah's like, "Oh, so he shot someone."
Well, there's not enough in this movie to make a trailer. What else are you going to put in the trailer? Them sitting at a restaurant, or I don't know. There's not enough in the middle for me. It was pretty empty.
Interesting. Well, Hunter, I know there's loads to go through in this, but let's keep the trivia to a minimum here.
Right,
we have been recording for quite some
Here
time.
right now, Boris, trivia. So, literally, as you'll know, Kyle, by looking, there were only 4 points on IMDb for trivia for this film. And one of them being that it was a Netflix original film. So something that you already know if you're watching it. So what we have is the first and the last scene were shot on the same day. Jack Lowden and Martin McCann also worked together on 71, and Matt Palmer, and it's got colon, a villager walking in the background in a scene during the build-up to the festival. So can anyone Google who Matt Palmer is, because that did not touch any base?
Well, Hunter, it does say directly above that, director cameo.
Oh, there we go. I've completely missed that.
I'm just trying to see what else he has directed. Let's see if you've heard of any of these movies, because this was the last film that he done. In fact, you won't have, because they're all short films. So 4 short movies before he did this one, and he's not done anything since.
That makes sense, because this seems like a short film that's been out into a full film without anything being put in it.
If anything, like I reckon we could come up with a better script and submit it to Netflix and get a film made.
I mean, Netflix take anything. Let's do it.
What would be a script? Give us a tagline.
Just
Bangers, guns, and anxiety. That's what we need.
You call it Guns and Anxiety, aye.
Bangers, Roger, and Guns and Anxiety.
And then at the end of it, they're still in the woods. So the sequel's Guns and Anxiety 2, Live Off the Land, and they've got to.
So basically, it's like the episode of Sopranos where it's kid when they're stuck in the forest. That, but with tits, essentially.
Guys, this sounds far too close to content that would be in our group chat, and I'd be extremely apprehensive about handing over our group chat to anybody to read outside of our group.
Nah.
So let's not go there. Daniel, before we move on to scoring, was there any more questions that came via Instagram for us?
Let's go and see if any have come in while we've been recording.
Or was it just some random people asking us to go and like their pages?
It's mostly people asking us to go and share their content and like their pages. I mean, we've got a couple of reviews of this. So Ben, who we had on the show previously, said that this movie's brilliant as a dark thriller. Got a bit silly towards the end with all the community dynamics. I'll probably agree with that. I agree with Ben. And our pal Chris gave it a solid 4. J Mick gave this a 4. He says a great tense wee Scottish one. So people quite liked it, but no other interesting questions.
For those listening out with Scotland, 1 equals 1.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people in India that download us every week.
That one Bosnian.
The one Bosnian that have downloaded us. Just talking in terms of downloads, guys, we've been pretty strong over the last couple of weeks. Weirdly, 32 downloads today. Don't know why we're taking such a hit today. We are closing the gap on 1,500 downloads of all time. Over the last 30 days, though, we are 4 downloads off 400. So averaging over 100 downloads a week. Obviously, mostly coming from the UK. Within the last 7 days, 20 from the States, 19 India, 8 Russia, and 2 across in Australia. So we're even firing to down under. But thank you to those that have downloaded us. If you haven't already, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a review or a rating on whatever platform you've downloaded us from. I think we're about 23 ratings on Apple, Daniel. I think you put that on Instagram recently. 23
ratings and 4.9 overall. That one guy giving us a 2 still a cunt, so he can fuck off.
Yep. 5s are nothing, guys. 5s are nothing. We're obviously extremely positive about everything that we watch, so you review us the way that we review movies, please. Well, Sean, let's come back to you, mate, and get your score for Caliber.
Yeah, so it's just going to be a carbon copy of my previous score, so I'm going to give this a 4 as well. It's one that I did enjoy.
Excellent. Hunter?
I know I felt like I did nothing but berate it, but I did enjoy it nonetheless, so it's a solid 3 for me.
Solid 3. The Bengal TT?
I'm going to give it a 2.5.
2.5. Daniel?
It's just a 2 for me.
Oh, just a 2. And for myself, although I've grilled into a little bit regarding the storyline, I do enjoy it, and I would watch it again. I'll give it a 3. Have I given you enough time, Burnsy, to work out the numbers?
Yep, plenty of time. That's 2.9 overall for that one.
2.9 overall, which puts us up beside Don't Look Up and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
It's better than Don't Look Up. I think on reflection, Don't Look Up is a down. I'm gonna maybe vote that down at the next opportunity.
I don't know if I could go back and watch Don't Look Up.
No, never again.
We took some hit on Instagram that week, didn't we?
Yeah.
People were not happy. But top 75 though, top 75 for a wee Scottish film is not to be sniffed at. So that does then bring us to the end of the 2 movies that we have watched for last week. Me, myself, and Irene coming in number 41 on the leaderboard with a 3.6, and Caliber coming in at 75 with a 2.9. And you'll be glad to hear, guys, that that is the end of Sean being able to pick movies until we are all done.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Well, on the plus point, we do have some really good movies coming up with next week's selection. I must say, guys, that next week's selections have come from one of the guys that picks the best quality of movies that we do have. So we have got 12 Angry Men incoming. We had originally chosen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which was changed before the announcement happened. I had a little prompt on Instagram. So one of our followers gave a little prompt about us watching a Zack Snyder movie. So we have moved on to Zack Snyder's Justice League. A nice 4-hour-long movie for us to get our teeth into and discuss. I can see the head shaking as well. Daniel's been dreading this one for long enough.
I did say the only thing that would ever make me watch this movie is if it was for this. So I will go in with an open mind. Although I do believe the fact that this movie exists is an abomination. It's a horrible thing.
It's also really confusing because, like I say, I put loads of panicked messages in the group chat yesterday because I bought it last night. £6.99 it cost me for this movie, and it pops up telling you that it's 8.5 hours long, which I thought even I can't sit and watch 8.5 hours of fucking Justice League. But it seems to go from one movie directly to the same movie but in black and white.
That's exactly. See the type of folk that like that film. That sums them
They
up.
will gladly sit and watch. That's a day at work they would spend watching the same film back to back.
Oh, just a second. So you get the choice, guys. You can watch it in black and white, or you can watch it in bright orange colour.
I was going to say orange. That's another choice.
But 12 Angry Men, topical. We just had a big court case happen with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. This is a court case drama, which is incredible. One of my favourite films. So I do look forward to watching that. But enough of what's coming next week. Let's get the wheel spun to see what is going to get selected for the week after. I think we're all in the case now. We just want our own picks, aren't we?
No, I want a vote.
Oh, cinema.
Can we go and see Bob's Burgers, the movie?
I don't know what that is.
Weird
cartoon.
So that'll be a no for Sean. Well, guys, so obviously we're not going to go and see two things at the cinema, so we will spin the wheel once again to get the second category. Sound fair?
Yeah.
Aye.
So
Because I get a night that I can go to the cinema once, never mind twice. Is a sluggle to do.
Well, the cinema is coming as the first selection, so we'll have to have a gander to see what's coming up. Oh, please.
Oh,
fucking hell.
Second choice coming in for the wheel, guys, is musicals. So a week of going to the cinema and watching musicals. This sounds incredible.
I'm quite
We're
happy
just
with
trying
that.
to turn in one film. Is it not like a musical that's on at the cinema? We can.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to the research, what we're going to do for there. But if we can add Hamilton to the list, that would be lovely.
once it gets made into a movie,
Well, I'm going to request Les Mis. That has to be in there. It can't not be in there.
Oh God, I think. Oh God, the thought of it's not the thought of me having to watch Les Mis is bad, but the thought of Sean having to watch Les Mis seemed worse.
I walked out the pictures at that. I'm not watching that again. I walked out of the cinema and I'm not watching it.
Can we watch The Phantom of the Opera instead?
Let's see. There's loads of choices. Let's get Mamma Mia.
Sunshine and Leaf can be on there.
Oh, that's
Aye.
true.
That's a good
Loads
one.
of choices.
Well, so that settles it, guys. So for the week following, we do have the cinema trip, and we also have musicals that are going to come up to be reviewed. So get involved, get onto Instagram, have a look at what comes up on there, and be a part of any voting if we go down the routes with the voting, depending on what we narrow it all down to. But guys, it's been a bit longer than normal for a recording. We're over an hour and a half, so thank you very much for staying with us. If you've stayed with us to the very end, just a reminder again of the socials. If you can pop on to Instagram, that's at Morons Review Movies. Also Twitter, go and give a little follow on Twitter at Morons Movies. And yeah, please share and rate our podcast. Appreciate your time, and as morons bid you farewell.
Au revoir.
It's a long one tonight, guys.
That's what she said.
Do your trousers up.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun, you fucking moron.
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.